Wow. Okay. We're going to go forward and we're going to hear from Dawn. Dawn and I had a very nice conversation, I have to say. We could have spent, I think, hours just chatting along. So thank you so much for your time. You're an author, activist, and a publishing disrupt her with a capital H. Tell us a little bit about that and the value that you can bring to our audience.
Well, I write books and help other people write books around the realm of human rights, social justice, and cultural cohesion rather than cultural diversity, because we all know we're different. And it's about time we all started focusing on our similarities rather than our differences. And I just felt that there's a lot of people within the publishing world that are not always honest when it comes to certain things. A lot of people feel that self-publishing isn't an option for them because it's not really serious publishing, is it? And so I wanted to give people the information. I've been in the publishing world for over 26 years, and I feel that when we actually share our stories, I've read recently that when we share our stories loudly, we help other people heal privately. And I think that actually goes a very long way, because there are so many people out there that are actually needing to see the realism that's actually going on in the world, and they need to know that it's actually possible for them to publish. And when we're told that that we're only a success if one of the big four have published us, or it's only the way of being validated, I think that actually puts a lot of people behind before they've even got forward. So we have to start reframing what it means to be a self-published author. I was published by a traditional publisher. I fought for 3 years to bring my book back to myself, made more money in 3 months than I did in 3 years with my previous publisher. And then because I'm an entrepreneur, I poured all my entrepreneurship into my publishing career and my writing career. And when you choose to self-publish, people have to understand that you have to invest in yourself, because if you're not going to invest in yourself, why would anybody else? And I think that this is what people have got to understand, that the self-published authors, a lot of us are very professional entrepreneurs. We're not just people that just want a quick upload and quick Canva chaos cover, as I like to call it, because you really don't want to see a cover that I've designed. And I really think people need to start viewing the publishing world and how to write a book, because the problem we've got is with a lot of the platforms, anyone can write a book, but that is also the problem. Anyone can publish and write a book.
Thank you, Dawn. I appreciate that. And, it's interesting. I started writing books and I've published a number of them. And people who have traditional publishers, they've said to me, I can think of two people. Oh, self-published. Just, you're like, ooh, get away from me. What kind of changes, Dawn, have you seen in the publishing industry overall with all of your years of experience there?
There's the positive side. We're seeing a lot more women in publishing. We're seeing a lot more women say, I actually don't need your permission. I actually don't need to hide behind a man's name. I mean, many people talk about J.K. Rowling. Her publisher actually encouraged her to have just 2 initials. She was just going to go with 1, but they actually said go with 2. It's more masculine. She's also now republishing books under, I think it's like David Galbraith. So here we have a woman who is publishing under a man's name. And we saw that with George Eliot. Come on, ladies, we need to, as I like to say, own our ovaries and actually, own our power. And we actually need to actually look at the way in which we can harness the power of philanthropy through literature. And going back to what we were talking about with Edit, when we use the healing power of writing a book and writing our journey, we can heal from trauma. We can actually help other people heal from trauma, because there is that element where a lot of people cannot afford therapy, they cannot afford a counsellor. But by us working together, we're seeing a lot more memoir, a lot more self-help books, which is great. And that's actually helping other people who can't afford therapy and counselling to actually heal themselves. So not only are the writers healing, but the readers are also healing along that journey. And that's something that I actually help a lot of people do. I help them write their book whether that book will ever be published or not, it's that healing journey I take them on. And when we publish it, a lot of the time, like my menopause book that I wrote with 10 other people, all the proceeds of that book go to women's projects around the world. The Man Up book that I've just published with a man's mental health suicide, all of those royalties from that, they go to Tough to Talk charity in the UK to help prevent male suicide. And again, it's all about when we collaborate, to touch on your point that you mentioned at the top of the show, when we collaborate on these books, the royalties, they all go to charity. And then it's down to the individual authors to actually buy and sell the copies of their books so that they make the money, and then they can do with that as they wish. But all the royalties come in, they go to charity.
Thank you so much, Dawn. There's so many offshoots of what you just said. Imposter syndrome comes up. I definitely want to go there in a few minutes. But who would like to share comments or feedback about? Yes, please.
Dawn, I absolutely loved that you brought up the speak your story loudly so others can heal privately. It is so true. I remember a speaker sharing with me that, actually sharing with a room, that the story that you least want to tell is the story that most people need to hear. You're helping so many people heal. It's so exciting. I totally get why you and Dr. Jacqueline had such a great conversation. Oh my gosh, you're amazing. I want a conversation with Dawn.
We'll have a Dawn sign-up sheet at the end of the show. Thank you so much. Anyone else want to share something about what Dawn shared? Yes, please.
Yeah, hi. Sorry, is that okay with the mic? Yeah. I sort of share your story loudly as well. But when you also said about writing yours and it doesn't have to be published, that is part of my healing journey as well. The traumatic event that I went through, which I'll explain another time, a little bit later on. But I actually did that. I wrote a book on my laptop, chapters, but I knew it could never be published because of the other people involved and that reason for suing and things like that. But it's so healing. It's such a therapeutic journey. So I love the fact that you're helping women do that too.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate the shares. And by the way, if no one's speaking, just go ahead and voice whatever your comment or opinion is. Let's go over to, go ahead. Edith, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I just love this conversation as an author myself, because I went through the journey that I went to a publisher to publish my book, and then yes, it's taking away like 80% of the income basically, so you don't leave too much for yourself. So I would love to learn more, yes, about how to do the self-publishing in a sufficient way, because I was scared of it as well because of I saw this so much work, that's why I choose the publisher, like, oh, they're going to do the job, instead of me. So that's the one thing. And the other thing is really great what you are saying, that everything is about belief. And then if people don't have the belief that they are able to do it, then they won't do it. So it's really important to open eyes for this. Yeah.
I think it's really important what you just said there, Edith, about a lot of people think that, if they go to a big publisher, they're going to get lots of royalties. Most big publishers these days only pay between $3,000 and $5,000 per book. But what they're actually doing is buying your copyright. Yeah. People don't understand that. Whereas when people come to, I do not take any royalties. I do not buy the copyright. I am the guardian of people's copyright. And if they want to leave, that's up to them. But again, even when they're published by a big publisher, they actually have to do a lot of the work. And people don't know that. And that's why I have my Author Academy where I'm educating people. Excuse me. Need a cup of tea. It's English, 4 o'clock. But I think that's the thing. People need to be educated about what it means to be an author.